Script: 4 things Noland Arbaugh did with Neuralink's brain chip. For 8 years, Noland Arbaugh lived in silence. Not the quiet kind, but the kind where your mind screams and your body refuses to listen. A diving accident had severed his spinal cord, leaving him quadriplegic, trapped behind eyes that still saw everything but hands that could touch nothing. Then, on January 29, 2024, something happened that shouldn't have been possible. A robot threaded over 1,000 microscopic electrodes into his brain, and suddenly, his thoughts had power again. Quadriplegia doesn't just steal movement. It steals agency. For years, Noland relied on head trackers and voice commands, tools that worked but slowly, frustratingly, like trying to paint with oven mitts on. Every interaction with the world required workarounds, adaptations, compromises. The assistive technology of 2023 was impressive by yesterday's standards, but it was still a constant reminder of what was lost. And the idea that pure thought could control a computer? That belonged in science fiction, not in a hospital room in California. But Neuralink's link wasn't science fiction. It was a device smaller than a postage stamp, implanted beneath the skin, containing 1,024 electrodes positioned in the exact region of Noland's brain that controls movement intention. When the surgeons activated it, they started with the simplest possible task: move a cursor on a screen. No complex mental gymnastics required. Just imagine moving your hand. Just think it. The cursor moved. For the first time in 8 years, a direct command from Noland's brain bypassed his severed spinal cord entirely and reached the outside world. It wasn't fast, not yet. It wasn't perfect. But it was real, and it was intuitive in a way that shocked everyone watching. The ghost limb in his mind suddenly had presence in the digital world. This wasn't a party trick. This was a fundamental proof that the human brain could speak directly to machines. Once the cursor worked, the question became obvious. What else could it do? The skeptics had their answer ready. Using the link would be mentally exhausting, they said. A few minutes, maybe. Sustained use would drain him like nothing else. The brain wasn't meant to maintain that kind of focus indefinitely. So Noland decided to test that assumption in the most defiant way possible. He loaded up Civilization 6, one of the most demanding strategy games ever made, and he played for 8 hours straight. 8 hours of sustained focus. 8 hours of rapid decision-making, resource management, and complex planning, all controlled by pure thought. He didn't get tired. He didn't lose the connection. The link held steady, responsive, almost natural. By the end of the session, Noland wasn't just playing a game. He was proving that the barrier between thought and action could be bridged not just momentarily, but reliably, for as long as he needed it to be. But here's what made this moment truly significant. He wasn't just playing. He was winning. Noland beat the game's AI opponent on a high difficulty setting. This wasn't someone struggling to use new technology. This was someone who had integrated it so completely that he was competing at a level that required skill, strategy, and confidence. The technology had become invisible. Only the player remained. Then came the moment that changed everything. Noland didn't just use the link for games or simple tasks. He used it to do something that 8 years of quadriplegia had made nearly impossible. He played online chess against opponents around the world. He controlled a robotic arm to shake hands with researchers, and most remarkably, he streamed his gameplay to thousands of people watching in real time. He wasn't just reclaiming his own agency. He was broadcasting it. He was showing the world that this was possible. What Noland Arbaugh did in those first weeks wasn't just about technology. It was about something deeper, the refusal to accept that a broken body means a broken life. For 8 years, the world told him what he couldn't do. Then a robot and 1,000 electrodes gave him back the ability to answer back. And his answer was simple: watch what I can do. We're living in a moment where the line between science fiction and reality is blurring faster than ever. Noland's story isn't just about one man and one implant. It's about what becomes possible when we refuse to accept limits as permanent. Subscribe to factstormhub. We tell stories like this every day. Full article on factstormhub.com.